Good morning everyone. I'd like to begin by paying my respects to the traditional owners on the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to the Ngunnawal people. We've been so warmly welcomed here in Canberra, and thank you Liz so much for inviting us to be part of your conference and festival here. Before I start the presentation, I probably just wanted to say that when the opportunity came from Liz, I must confess I probably did some minor research on what the festival was and booked the flights with my colleague Jo, probably not fully comprehending the scope of the festival. But however, I must say that since the opening night and that very first performance from Vicky, I have been completely inspired. I've been completely transfixed by the content and the passion of each and every speaker, and I think the diversity of everyone's story, as well as the performers. And I guess finally completely thrilled by the whole prospect of getting older. I think if it's anything like I've seen over the last 2 days, then it's a journey of creativity and spirit and empowerment, and so thank you for enlightening me to the world of graceful aging as well. To start off today's presentation, I'd like to show you a short video called How Dance Makes Me Feel. And in this video, we asked some of the participants of our regular dance classes at Queensland Ballet how they feel when they dance and what inspires them to move.
Dancing makes me feel relaxed and happy. I love being able to go into the studio and immerse myself in the dancing world and the music. I can be as expressive as I want, and it's a form of exercise, so obviously I'm staying fit.
My favourite thing about dancing is doing a plie.
Dancing makes me feel exhilarated. When I'm in the studio and I'm dancing, I forget everything outside. It makes me feel so alive, and I'm just living in the moment, so it's wonderful.
When I'm dancing, I have lots of fun. I like spinning really fast.
It's just being one with everything. It makes me feel free, and I can do anything I like, just be what I like and be the music, and it's just such a freeing moment.
You may have noticed in the video our very own dance class pin-up girl Pamela Douglas. I'd like to share a bit of the story of Pam. I sat down with Pam earlier last week and asked her to share a story on what brought her to that very first dance class. She shared with me this. She was with her husband for 40 years when he suddenly passed away. Needing, in her words, to save my sanity, she saw a class advertised at Queensland Ballet and thought this could be the answer to get me moving and out of my head. Hanging up the ballet tights since she was 14 years old, there were of course many nerves ahead. She went to one class and found there could in fact be light at the end of the grief tunnel. In her experience, the healthiest way to move on is to physically do something. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Pam averages 10 classes a week at Queensland Ballet. Actually, she told me she is now moving to a home in the next suburb from Queensland Ballet, so she has less commute time to the classes. She has newfound friends that she can attend performances with, and as a side note, has far better arm tone than myself at 83. Pam's story, whilst lovely, is certainly not unique, as I'm sure many of you can appreciate. Dance can be transformational across all the ages, and I'd like to dig deeper on how Queensland Ballet has embraced this core pillar for the community wellbeing. So where did it all begin with Queensland Ballet? Beyond the main stage productions and the elite pathway, there is a fundamental support for this wellbeing. The company's work in arts and health began in 2011 when we introduced dance classes, a community program that invited members of the public into our company studios after the company dancers and the academy dancers had finished their classes for the day. These initial classes in our studios were focused on ballet, contemporary dance and Pilates. As our numbers steadily rose, in 2013, Queensland Ballet expanded its community engagement focus to directly target older adults. The following timeline highlights the key milestones that have taken us from 2013 until now. In 2013, Queensland Ballet launched a pilot program offering specialised dance classes to people with Parkinson's. These classes were based on the internationally recognised Dance for Parkinson's program that you may have heard Dr. Erica Jeffrey talking about yesterday. Erica, of course, leads this program in partnership with Queensland Ballet, and we're very proud to continue that this year and into next year as well. The pilot program ran for 10 months and was the first study of its kind in Australia. The results concluded, echoing many of the other findings from other speakers during this conference, that the program affected people living with Parkinson's in a multiple of ways, including the valuable physical, emotional, social and cognitive benefits. And echoing Erica's discussion yesterday, certainly the artistry component is of utmost consideration for us in terms of implementing these key findings with our regular dance classes. So after this successful program, the pilot was introduced as regular dance classes at Queensland Ballet. The key findings continue to support and enhance the program. The class held every Sunday morning is of great importance to the company and the participants, and it always finishes with Scotch fingers, tea and live chats, which is incredible. In 2017, due to its strong commitment to the arts and health practice, Queensland Ballet undertook research on the health and well-being of ballet for mature adults. Grant-enabled and led by Dr. Anya Ali Hapala, the Ballet for Seniors class was involved in the development and testing of an evidence-based ballet class for active older adults. The research critically investigated older adults' motivations to participate in ballet and the health and well-being benefits of their participation. So what were the key outcomes of this second report? The social interaction is a key motivator for older adults and contributed to the enjoyment of the seniors classes. Emotional well-being, specifically that more challenging content led to a greater sense of achievement and happiness. As quoted by one participant in the research, I think when you go on a regular basis and you get to see the same people each week, people start to get to know your name. They get to know your face, and we go for coffee afterwards. And I think that way you start to form friendships. And people ask, how are you? And they notice when you're not there. They really notice. The Ballet for Seniors program also led to positive well-being outcomes, particularly feeling more energetic and animated, keeping in shape, bodily control and awareness, posture, flexibility, physical well-being, and overall well-being. As our Pamela Douglas commented, all the exercises that make up a regular ballet class, bending, turning, lifting, constantly trying to remember the sequences and steps, they're all things you need just to survive everyday life. In early 2018, the research report was released. With the power of one media release, it received a cumulative broadcast of 92 million people. As you can imagine, the program has received somewhat of an explosion since the release of that. So what does happen when an adult dance program takes on a life of its own? They make shirts that they wear on Sundays, labelled not too old. They have Christmas parties that I wish I was invited to. They bring their friends, and their friends bring friends. and we filled the Brisbane City Hall with 250 participants during Seniors Week. Due to class capacity, we've increased over the space of 1 year from 2 regular Ballet for Seniors classes to now 7 per week. And that means about 150 Ballet for Seniors participants pass through our door every week, which is pretty wild. The explosion is a fantastic problem, but one that has its challenges, no doubt. So how does a company manage this growth when we're restricted by resources and staff numbers? Acknowledging these challenges, Queensland Ballet has responded by adding new classes, trying to meet the demand, upskilling more teachers with the expert knowledge required for any certain modifications, and expanding our geographic beyond Brisbane. As a regional country girl from Queensland, it's certainly one of my great, values is to ensure that we're not so Brisbane-centric and really taking it beyond our studios there for the company dances and academy dances that we share. Beyond the success of the creative health research is a commitment that stems right from the DNA of the company to equity and access. There certainly has, as I mentioned, always been an important role in the main stage productions for the company and our Elite Academy program, but it's opening up ballet in its broader sense. What is the reason that any major dance company delivers these engagement programs? It is not about ticketing sales or audience development. It's about the cultural change and demystifying the elitism around ballet. At Queensland Ballet, these education and community programs cater for participants from 0 to 90s hero and are curated for individual participation regardless of their experience with dance. Whether it's our research and ongoing commitment to the early years dance programs, through programs such as Kindy Moves, which the lovely Joseph is featured in here. Thank you, Joe. And our regular early years dance program that we run in the studios for 1 to 5 years. In addition to our regional dance camps where we hold week-long opportunities for youth in regional areas to be opened up to the world of dance and the broader arts. Seniors Week where we hold in collaboration with other local councils outside of the Brisbane area. Junior Friends events, which is a program that my colleague Joseph runs. Book week workshops and many more options that I couldn't fit on the slide. There's a large scope of programs that we offer outside of, the main stage productions. The following video illustrates that the experience for our active older adults is not dissimilar to our youngest learners in the lifespan of love of the dance and the broader arts. So let's see where this story starts.
Today, we're welcoming students into our premises for a Queensland Ballet immersion experience. We want all young minds to be able to question the world with confidence and integrity. Even if a student doesn't pursue an artistic career, it's these skills of the future that will enrich them forever.
I like to dance because it's exciting and you learn new moves. Dancing makes me feel happy. I like dancing because it's fun. Well, I feel so amazed and I also feel nervous at the same time, but once I get on stage and I see so many people watching us, I just feel so happy there. I get all my writings out.
We want our Queensland Ballet workshops, discussions and behind the scenes opportunities to be just the beginning of a creative life for our young people.
just how all those beautiful moves that people do, I feel like I want to do that too and be a famous dancer when I grow up.
When you open a child's eyes to the arts, it's their creative, curious minds that we're trying to inspire. It's these skills that we want to embed so that once that singular, inspiring moment is over, the magic of the arts lives on.
As you heard from probably the next future CEO of an arts company, Amy, when I'm on stage, I feel so happy. I get all my frightens out. Frightens, that's what she said, yeah. Our youngest members, transformed by watching dances, inspired by creativity and pathways of the future. The joy from the arts is the same at every age, regardless of their touch point with Queensland Ballet. To conclude today's presentation, let me finish where the story started. This photo is of Pam in a natural habitat on a Sunday. She now volunteers at the front of house of dance classes and is self-appointed mentor for her newbies. She rocks a bum bag as well, and she is very active. She is non-stop. In her closing statement, Pam said this: "I feel as though I've been reborn. I'm starting again, doing things I loved as a child. There is no concern. I'm just doing it for sheer pleasure." If you're interested in reading about any of the research reports that I've mentioned today, please go to the website of Queensland Ballet, and these are the 3 reports for your further reading. A reminder that my wonderful colleague Joseph Stewart, Joe, come on. Joe will be delivering a Ballet for Seniors class tomorrow at the Quantum Leap studio at 9:30 to 10:45. So welcome you. It's free for all the participants of the festival, and also open to the general public as well. So, Joe. And finally, I've really loved connecting. I'm quite new to the arts sector. I jumped ship from the sports world last year, which was the greatest decision I've ever made. So I'm quite new to meeting people, and I really would love for you to come and introduce yourself, and let's talk about all things that are possible. I'm lucky in Queensland Ballet that we have an extraordinary leadership team that are mostly open for anything I've thrown at them so far. So I welcome meeting you all, and open to any collaborative opportunities moving forward. If I do miss you, that's my email address, so please make contact. Thank you very much.